ManHOOD, brought you in part by Reboot, Superfarm, and Solomon's Bespoke.
Welcome to another episode of ManHOOD, where we always aim to be better as brothers. And yes, I'm going to say it again and again and again. We are not speaking on behalf of all men, but we're speaking to all men and women and anyone that's willing to listen, because the message here on ManHOOD is always one of positivity, and we always aim to embrace anybody's viewpoint, but try to get you to maybe sway towards something a bit different and always in a positive light. So today is one that, we always try to be a bit impactful and comedic in certain senses to the topic, but the topics are always a serious one, and this one is no different. Today's topic is bullying. I know many of us can certainly relate with that, so I want to get straight into it. Mm-hmm. And to my right, yes, Jamel Sampson, also known as Certified Sampson.
Yes.
Content creator, entrepreneur, certified scoops. If you haven't had it, try it. Yeah. You like yourself. Thank you. And to his right, Johanse Audike, behavior change consultant. Gentlemen, we mentioned the word, and just hearing the word invokes so much emotion.
Absolutely.
And invoke emotion for you? Did it invoke emotion for
you? Absolutely. Because part of bullying is strongly based on, sometimes school time, especially from home, boy. Like, it starts home sometimes in little ways, and you may not realize it right away. But then when you get older and you kind of debunk it a little bit,
right?
The little peacock your uncle might get, hey, you're getting fat, boy. Like, all them little small things. Like, some people take that as a form of bullying. Some people may be able to handle a little peacock from time to time.
As you're saying, some people, and sometimes the topics we discussing, what I try to bring into perspective is that, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, in the Caribbean on a whole, but we have high context language, which means that even though there's a dictionary meaning to a word, we attribute our own meanings to it. And that's why sometimes it get a bit convoluted, because what he might mean by bullying, you mean and I mean might be different things. So let me start with the dictionary meaning of bullying. Bullying is seeking to intimidate or coerce or harm someone who you deem as vulnerable.
Right.
So let me say that again. Seeking to harm, coerce, or intimidate someone you deem as vulnerable.
And by saying that, it triggers a memory for me. I could remember that same exact meaning that you just explained there. Most of it happened in school. Most of that happened in secondary school for me.
Right.
Where it's like you go in the higher form, or in Form 1, Form 2, and these Form 5s and these Form 4s, is like they definitely see us vulnerable to the point where...
I have a memory of that too.
But it's kind of like a rite of passage though, you feel that but you see, as you mentioned there, Jamel, when you say it starts from home, right? So those persons' home may be bullied, right? By whether it be siblings, whether it be an uncle, whether it be parents, right?
Listen.
And so they can't retaliate in that forum, but then they come now and they realize, hey, you know what?
Words.
I could deal with our Form 1 and Form 2. I could slap you up or tap him up or throw rotten egg or whatever the form of bullying is. Or like you say, words. There was this saying I remember back in the day: "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm me." Yeah. But that's whole.
Yeah, that's a real whole like a big pile,
smelly pile.
Because let somebody you love tell you something hurtful, and you will know the true meaning and extent of words. Definitely have power.
Or rather, a cuff, man.
Yeah. Imagine my mom telling me, "You're not my son. I never wanted you to be my son. I pick up the wrong child in the hospital." And I show you all often hear that.
Well, it's like
your daddy and your daddy, but your daddy don't know.
I have this theory, it is a theory. I have no scientific evidence to back this up, right?
Yeah.
But somehow I think, what I see is that somehow I think words hurt men more than women.
For sure.
Right? But I'm not too sure why yet.
I think I know why. Let me just use an example of a relationship. And men, I can speak for myself, right? And I would hope it relates to men there.
We speak it on behalf of all men.
Okay, we're speaking on behalf of all men.
Yeah.
You know, but all men are different, but understand what I mean?
Right,
Okay,
right.
we're speaking on behalf of all men. So in relationships, you know, we tend to put out a lot. We tend to definitely go out there and try to be the best version of ourselves for the person that we have, and for the woman that we would like to spend the rest of our lives with. And working hard and doing all of that and just investing time, money, energy into this said person. And then, you know, things may be rocky in between there. For your woman to come now and either, you know, step out of the relationship or either tell you something that would break you down as a man is extremely for a man it will break you apart, boy.
So you're not a man, you have a small, you know, things like that. They tear you up.
So what you're saying, Jamel, is that because you're saying men generally would put out so much, that when something is said, it is taken a little more, still more in a more intense manner.
Imagine somebody saying, "You don't do nothing for me. What you do for me?" When you busting your bro.
Or what about Jamel? Call her next and somebody else's name. Why you not more like?
Yeah.
So
You why you can't be more like? Yeah, I've heard that so many times in many different aspects of life.
So apart from a relationship, like you said, starting from home as a child, you now going to school and you now trying to connect in many ways or vent. Sorry, in many ways, and remember, you're still for all intents and purposes, you're not an adult. So your ways of managing fully your emotions at that point are a bit skewed.
Right.
And so what you know is physically I could exert something on you, or you may hear the words home. It could be a father exchanging it to a mother exchanging it to a father, and then you therefore come in school and
replicating what you see.
And replicate that. So to the Form 1 or the Form 2 or even your peers, because bullying doesn't have to be, I mean, you generally see it, like you said, Form 5, Form 4 to Form 1 and Form 2.
Yeah.
But the bullying can happen all over. I mean, I as I said, I haven't timed when I'm going to share this story, but I did say, I did commit that I would share a story of school at some point during this show.
Well, what you're saying there is that children generally replicate what they see at home, right? And this also at a unconscious level. So somebody don't have to say, well, eyes are bullying home, eyes are bullying, and I'm bullying you. For a child to see this, my mother or my father is making me do something, and I don't understand why I'm doing it. And I don't want to do it, but they exert some kind of force on me. So, well, if I was somebody do something, this is what I learn.
Do
right?
that way. Ain't no roof on their head after today. Yeah, like
right.
Let me tell you, I love my father, God rest his soul. I would always tell people, I would never forget. I mean, and this probably builds character later on in discipline. But my dad, back then we had a thing called a swiper. Right now you have weed whacker and things like that. But I told him what swiper like that, right?
That's real weird.
And and he would before he left to go to Oakle say, make sure and cut the bush by the drain. Right? And cut the lawn. Now here is Jamel Johanse to everybody out there. We have no lawnmower.
Wow.
So I have to go and find a lawnmower, right? Walk by some neighbor, find a lawnmower, walk to a gas station, put gas and cut the lawn, because if you don't cut the lawn before he reach home, guess what getting cut?
You.
You understand? But the thing is, I have so much love for my father, but the way things may look now, that may be deemed abuse. But is it then even subconsciously or without putting that term specifically to it, would all that be put in the context of some form of bullying?
I could peel the layer a little bit, and you know, as men sometimes, I don't want to say bullying makes us stronger.
Why don't you say it?
Brings out the best in us, but
if you
I
want
want
to
to say that
say it.
sometimes a little pecan and a little, because I didn't grow up with my dad, and I might be playing cards with my friends, all fours, and I go win. That was your father now in your life. Like, just so, like
cards or Uno.
Like how cards reach to that.
Yeah.
But it's like, it just made me a little bit more comfortable with the situation and understand that is just what it is. I didn't grow up with my dad. And I just getting more comfortable with the fact
the word is
Thick skin?
Comfortable, yes, but resilient.
Resilient is the correct
That's the word.
Exactly.
And you see what you saying there, Robert, because yesterday a friend of mine sent me a video with a boy talking about his childhood, right?
Yeah.
And he was saying that his father was never really around. So even when something happened, his father was in live at home, but wasn't around, wasn't present a lot. So when something happened, he could explain to his mother because his mother knew him better, but his father didn't. And his father used to give him dread licks. And he say the worst memory he have is his father gave him licks all over his body and then throw pepper and salt on him. Right?
All right, I think we reach real far there
Right,
now.
but here it is. But here
that
it
was
is.
like segment 2 or 3 or something.
No, but when he said it, right, he was saying, but even though in spite of that, I still love my father.
Wow.
And then he was saying, and that made me stronger, and those were happy memories. Now, when he was saying happy memories, he started crying, right?
Right.
No, somebody sent it to me to hear my thoughts on it. And I have a group, a men's group that we have, and I sent it to the men in the men's group. And what it brought out is men started to talk about their experiences of abuse, and they said that, well, this make me the person I am. And then somebody say, people say licks, I get licks, but in spite of licks. And it made me question, is this healthy? Is it not healthy?
But
Did it
that's
make me more of a man?
Fellas,
Yeah,
that's
because-
abuse.
I'm not talking about as
I don't know if
extreme
that's
of that.
bullying, though.
All of us went through, as Jamel was saying, some kind of quote. Not all of us. A lot of us went through some kind of quote unquote hardship, right? And abuse, whether we want to term it abuse, bullying, punishment, that is life, right? Yeah. It made us who we are.
Because you are seeking to harm someone who's vulnerable. So by the dictionary meaning, I suppose it does come under that because you are seeking to harm, whether consciously, subconsciously, out of love or whatever you want to deem it.
No, but maybe the father wasn't seeking to harm. Maybe the father was seeking to discipline.
Yeah.
And the way he say, you know what? How I will make my son remember.
You will remember that pepper and salt.
Right, but this is not me justifying.
That's a frog.
This is not me justifying the action, but
crazy.
we don't know. You see, the intent of our parents may not be to hurt or harm. The intent of somebody may not be to hurt or harm. So we, of course, feeling the hurt and the harm, but it may not be that. Now, putting that perspective, because bullying is a thing that is a topic that I sometimes have people say controversial views on. Because you said, early when we now started the show today, you said a rite of passage, right? And then you said maybe bullying makes us stronger.
So I think something that had to fit right there is emotional intelligence. Because let me just say, for example, me, right? Like, I had friends, I do like this word, obzoki. Right? So they'll be like, you're fat and obzoki. Right? I don't know why they're using the word obzoki. But anyway.
Are you telling me I showing my age?
They will constantly say this now. Sampson, you're getting fat and obzoki, boy. And it's because of those statements, I decided to change around my life a little bit. And I decided to go on the healthier journey. And I lost like about 20 pounds on that journey. And all I remember sometimes while working out, now I laugh at it now, is I remember when they used to call me fat and obzoki.
Right.
So it's like emotional intelligence is a very important thing because, some people can't take that. So if you tell somebody that and you see maybe how they respond to it, as men, we don't really have the best emotional intelligence at times to understand, okay, this might be hurting this person in a way that I may not know, or this might be motivating them in a kind of way where you smell salt in gym, that kind of feeling. Sometimes bullying from friends to friends have that type of effect. It's like smelling salt. It's like, I get like a power to prove them wrong in a good way, in a healthy way now.
Let me play devil's advocate on that, right? How about, I understand what you're saying, so I agree, but I'll do devil's advocate. Life is a jungle, right? I can't estimate how somebody will take something every time. If I think you're fat and obzoki, I'm telling you that, you decide how you want to take it. And in life, you can't really decide how people will tell you things.
Yeah.
You could have a boss and you think the boss is supposed to be a certain way, and the boss say, they doing, right? And you might say, I was trying my best, and you start to feel it, but that is the way the boss is talking.
But Trini's, let's also take bullying to specifically. There's bullying on a global context that we understand as bullying. And just two things I want to address there. One, let's come back to parents may not want to seek harm. Now, whether they know it's harmful or not, sometimes it's learned behavior that they may have gotten from their parents and their upbringing. So therefore, regardless of whether you are intentionally doing it or not, you are harming your child, right? It is inflicting pain, right? And to someone vulnerable. So it is, whether you say, I want to definitely do it for this purpose, I want you to be abused, you might be looking at it like that. You might say, listen, I want to discipline.
Yeah.
But you're still seeking harm. So let not go down a road of semantics. Is bullying. If we're using that context, bullying is bullying.
Right.
You know? And let's also bring it back to bullying. No, that is a global understanding of what bullying is, to seek to harm, to coerce, etc. I'm talking about now, that's Trinidad and Tobago culture.
Right.
Where we are a culture of picong. Now, whether that comes from, we discussed this on a couple of the episodes, where from a traumatic past, that we use words like, you know, Obzoki, or you know, you're in school, Jamel, and a man tell you, you know, like tall man, when you're short.
Or they will refer to you as who you are. Like, I can imagine people just call it.
Like what?
Bald head or something.
Well, no, I wasn't bald then. They used to actually call me goat head.
Goat head.
Yeah, as in had a big head, you know. So it oh God, and now there's gonna be a meme, but you know, that's what it is. That was a form of, in other ways it could be a
that
term.
actually was a way of life, you know.
No, but I'm saying there's difference between a term of endearment, right, and then something that you may look at and laugh off, but do you really? I mean, as you grow older, it might be a brethren thing, and you laugh it off. But at the time, somebody calling me a big head, I was going, hey, thanks, man.
So I have some takes on it, boy. I just feel the culture is we call people what we see them as, because now I strong man. I'm a fat man, now I strong man. I might call it Ras, what going on, Ras? You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like the culture is just calling people like what we see them as.
What
like
we
have
see
somebody
them.
by me, I just call him 1 foot because he does not in a not in a format where it's to bully, but
you see you invoking the therapist in
it's like it's like listen.
No, but
explain himself.
It's an institute that lives by us, and
right, but it's a way of
he
life.
refers to himself
as 1 foot. That's a way of. I'll tell you, the first time I ever even heard the word bullying was watching American TV. You know, I was watching TV. I never heard that word as a child growing up, because Trinidad is Trinidad. If you're dark, somebody will call you something. If you're red, somebody will call you something. If you're Indian, somebody call you. If you're Negro, somebody call you. If you're Chinese, right? Somebody call you something, and it was always joke. Now, some people may not take it as joke.
But even that Chinese is another way, because it's Chinese. But we get accustomed to calling people Chinese, which is actually a derogatory term.
Yeah.
But we say it so easily now.
It derogatory. Now, I remember I say high context, right? Because it have Chinese people I know who live in Trinidad who just laugh at the word Chinese.
That's what I'm saying.
Who could even dance a Chinese parang now?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But the song itself is
but you see, even calling it derogatory still is a judgment, you know, because before, and this is my opinion now, before we get soft now, this society we live in, we're very soft compared to when I was growing up. Before we get soft, things was the way of life. It was almost like, you hit me a picong, I will come back with something. And here the comeback will do. The comeback is creativity. The comeback is critical thinking. The comeback is what builds resilience.
Yeah, I've had so many skit ideas I couldn't do because of that. Because I was like, nah, this good and touch some people that kind of way. I'd be like, nah, I'm not gonna do this skit because we have a society that get a lot more soft.
And in Trinidad, listen, men getting vexed off our words. That is something that I didn't grow up with.
We're getting too touchy. And we no longer have, you grow up and you hear, have a broad back or have some more thick skin. But we have a lot we could touch on, but we need to take a break.
Right. Perfect.
We need to take that break.
Yeah. Welcome back to ManHOOD, as the gentleman to my left and right. We talking about bullying, and I have an experience to share with observation.
Right.
Going to school, I had a friend who, 5 guys was in the friend group. Myself, 4 other friends. And we would all pecan, we would say this, we would say that. We would call each other by way it look like we ain't had the latest shoes. We go make fun of somebody. We don't have the latest bag. We make fun of somebody. Don't have a Jansport. You know, we go say, well, your parents poor. It's like real jokes as you say. And I had this one friend of mine who, you know, you could tell in his facial expression, he really wasn't comfortable with some of the things that we were saying. Because
it hit home.
It hit home. A lot of them now, not knowing the level of hurt that brought onto the person. Because they had a difficult life growing up. And in Form 5 is when I figured that out. So Form 1 to 4 is just like pecan. And then Form 5, when CXC exam was coming up and he was just having a tough time and certain things he couldn't do. Some people was going lessons. He can't afford lessons. He gonna make joke where he not no current and thing and we thinking he joking. And it's serious thing. And when we come to find out, living in a board house with 1 parent, 5 children, and sometimes he does have to go and try to do a little work here and there. So when we say these things that have, I'm a pause reason saying it, that have emotion attached to it. So it's not like it's just an individual thing. For him, it was probably, hey, I have so much siblings. I have this 1 parent. We sometimes don't have electricity. Sometimes don't have no money to probably try to extend my education. And it's like, hey, and all these kind of things keeping you in that environment mentally. So it's only when you get older, you sort of understand sometimes emotional intelligence, and I keep going back to it because I had to understand that. I wasn't, and I would say it's still not perfect for me. I may not know when to hold back with something or when something hurting somebody in many different aspects of life. So it's always good to observe. Facial expressions is one of the ways to know if something is a little bit too edgy. And I love to interact with people, and eye contact is a very important thing because you're able to tell a lot with the eyes. If somebody hurting, if somebody joyful, if somebody jubilant, that's the same word. So for me, when that memory came back with the friend in school and knowing all we went through, it's like a lot of the things in the friend group that we said, which I'm not going to say here, a lot of the things that we said, it's almost like we take that back now. He's doing good now. I would say he's doing good now.
So, you have been thinking about, you know, when you tell people, you know, you open, when you're so poor and you open your fridge, you see your backyard. Or you're so poor you can't afford to stay home. Wow. You know, or you open your pot and you see 2 cockroaches singing how many more must die. You know, and those things were real.
Wait,
Jamel, I don't know, as a bachelor right now and living on my own.
No, but that is,
I experienced that.
That is, listen, that is creativity and that is skill.
Well, that's trinities.
It's crazy work. That's the first time I hear that.
Listen.
That is hilarious to me.
Jamel, you said something before about when
I try to keep a straight face because it caused me some trauma that like thinking that
No, but I love that you're laughing because this is our culture now. But this is also the world, you know. As I was saying, the world is a jungle. Anyway, Jamel, you said in your friend group when you was talking to the guy, sometimes telling him it will keep him in the same space. That's what he said. Is that really true? Did it keep him in the same space?
Yeah, talking about something that negatively impacts you every day. Because remember, you had to go home to that. So you don't want to come to school to hear about that still. It's almost school is your escape. It's like almost as going to work and coming home with your problems. Sometimes, you know, you have to be a little considerate with your partner or your family. And parents will do it. They'll go to work, have a day, bro, and come home and take that stress out on you.
I agree with that. So, in your friend group, you should be aware, but that doesn't guarantee that because outside the friend group, the person can't estimate for how people will get on.
100%.
So I'm just saying, be mindful. Yes, in your friend group, but be mindful. The world is just the world.
But you know, I just said that again. You know, this we always talk about this, Jamel. You know, and I know you watch your show a lot as well. So the reflection a lot of times really get you to like how I'm understanding it, what we would tell people.
Yeah.
And I was one of those that would also sing those same songs to people with regards to being poor, how they're looking, and you don't know how it affects someone, right? And even in today's world, you know, people say certain things and you don't realize what that person might be going through. But in school, what I meted out, I also received, and it's now coming back to me and all lining up. So, for example, you know, back then there was a store called Butter, right? Now Butter, you know, there's a thing called Butter Bullets. And you would have I remember getting a pair of what was called gym boots.
Yeah.
And going to school, and to me, you leave home, your parents tell you, you're looking smart. Which is why they tell you sometimes don't gas up your child. You also, as a father, you also have to, in part of tough love is also training your child, not just to always say, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of you. It's to ask them if they're proud of themselves, to build up some form of resilience.
Yeah.
Because the world outside is not a kind one. And so when I went to school and I felt, hey, I have, boy, peacock down the road, boy. Like, boy, check, boy, with them butter bullets.
I remember.
And they're your peers. Yeah. So you immediately feel crushed because you left home feeling a particular way. You go in school and you get crushed. And now I'm hearing my son, who had a white Jordan, like his aunt bought him. He's 8, right? He's going on 8, but he's 7. So he goes to school with it. And 2 kids tell him, well, that is a fake. And I saw it, and he's 7.
Yeah.
But it's not a fake, but because it's not the ones that they know, I could see the look on his face. He doesn't want to wear it again.
I have a take on these things though, because it's like the world is a cruel world, right? So sometimes it prepares you for the world. Imagine being told
not sometimes,
nice
all the time.
Yeah. Imagine being told compliments all the time and perfection and nothing wrong and no former a little bit how to put it, a little
disruption, difficulty.
Imagine when you go out in that real world and you get a job or your boss tell you something you don't want to hear. Or somebody ran, you get somebody a bad drive. You wanna hear what words are power? Get somebody a bad drive. And it's like
we all guilty of it.
We all guilty. If you don't know and don't know how to understand that, this world is a cruel world, you're gonna be left behind, especially as a man.
Listen, exactly the point. And here's what will happen: if you be told compliments all your life, and some people always rubbing your back, the first sign of difficulty, you'll say, "I want to kill myself."
Yeah, boy.
And why I reason that is because the suicide rate in Trinidad, talking about Trinidad and Tobago, rising. And one reason, and this is what I tell parents all the time, parents who bring their children to me, especially children who express suicidal ideations. Here was the first question I asked them. The children is do any chores? No. Right? What responsibility the child have? Well, they maybe have to clean the room. I say, make them clean the room? No. Right? No difficulty. And the world now that we living in already prepares you for softness, because before I had to look in an encyclopedia to find something. So that is work. Now I could just do this.
And one thing I'd like to add to that, people who disassociate themselves from being in a strong friend group or having friends and always alone in the room by themselves, on the phone, nobody, no human conversations. Like that's a
sign.
That's a sign to
a sign of what? What do you think is a sign of what?
I think it's a sign that carries you down in a form of depression for sure, and I feel like it worsens, if that's a word. It worsens when you go to school and all your experiences that sort of words getting thrown at you, and then you're back home in your room by yourself, so you don't have a sort of real connection, like people and a friend group and friends line, bro, hey bro, we have you, bro, you okay? Because when you're in that room by yourself, you have nobody to talk to. Sometimes you tell your parent, imagine telling a Caribbean parent to depressed. I remember telling my mother that, and her interpretation of being depressed is bills. You have any bills to pay? You have any children of mine? I doing all of this to you, and it's like, it back then, it felt a kind of way, but growing up and understanding, and especially living on my own now, it's like, wait, it's like, it really,
you understand why?
It really a lot.
Robert, Jamel talk about people who isolate themselves, right?
Yes.
Why do you think people do that? I will tell you the most common reason I've heard, but from your point of view, why do you think
some people are socially
that?
awkward as well, and just to touch on, I wanted to give me your
feedback, thoughts.
Feedback and thoughts on that. But when we say about resilience builds character, or these things happening to you builds resilience and gives you character. And we spoke about suicide and depression, other things happening. But what I'm saying, Jamel, Johan say, if you tell me something And at the time, I'm not in a place that I'm mentally strong or able or have the community, the village to bring me out of it. We don't know how that.
But how is somebody able to decipher that now? It's like you
might not.
That's a real thing to debunk.
So you don't know. Remember I tell you, so this is where I go share the story, right? I tell you I was going to share the story. So when I was in school, and I don't think I've ever spoken about this before, when I was in school in about Form 4, that a guy used to lift weights and things like that. And in school, I mean, lifting weights at that age was a thing. So when you had a little biceps, you were considered a strong man. And I remember in a classroom, I told him something like, everybody was giving each other a peacock, and I probably told him, "Oh God, go sooner." And he came and he threw, like in a show to the boys are like laughing. He threw all the desks aside and put me in a corner and give me some proper cuff all in my head, right? And I remember I was in pain but traumatized because you're not gonna report it to your principal or anything because you still have to be, a fella. What I mean? You're not gonna rat on anybody. And I took it. And the irony is that even though I don't believe it affected me throughout my life, I went into kickboxing and all these other things after. But when I see when I see him now, I'm bigger than him, I'm known, I'm all the rest of it. I tell myself I could do some serious bellas, some serious cuff in your head. But talking about it here now, it clearly had, by me even showing a bit of that anger and frustration, I'm saying that, yes, I was able to come out of it, but what about somebody who could have become now leading to that depression, isolation, that reclusive type behavior that could have started off from a moment like that?
All right.
Yeah.
You're saying you don't think it affected you, right? Every difficult task, or any task that is deemed difficult for us, our brain develops neuroplasticity, which means that your brain adapts to it, so you get stronger. Think about it like a scab or a scar, more a scar. We get scar tissue because your skin now become tougher, so it wouldn't get cut again. When you experience something difficult, right, your brain, your body gets stronger, so that means you can deal with difficulty, not just difficulty of the cough, but difficulty in general. And you see, that could be a win if you understand that also, because when I started kickboxing, I remember the biggest step for me was learning how to take a hit,
Exactly.
When I started, I wanted to give hit. I wanted to do things.
Take it.
But what I learned is one of the biggest lessons was learning how to take a hit.
Yeah.
And as men, we have to learn to take a hit because hits come in from all angles unexpectedly. So, you see, and that's why the bullying is kind of come in a controversial term for me, because that is a word which is used now when we can't take something, when we think it's too much, but it mightn't be too much, and it might be the thing that makes you stronger.
Yeah. For example, I could remember watching a stand-up show, and the person was, I think it was Ricky Gervais or something, I believe, and I was telling people in the crowd things, right? Yeah. And then he went specifically to somebody, and it's only like when he was at that person, they were laughing all the time, and everybody else getting it. But as soon as it reached them, it's like the perspective just changed. Yeah. So now it's like, I'm being attacked, and they don't like him again. They're not a fan anymore. But listening to your story with, the person and fight your coffee or whatever, is like, again, to me, things are all about perspective. Not saying what he did was right, but you went into kickboxing. Yeah. And it also teaches you as a man, you have to be prepared, because sometimes life's just so unexpected. Again.
But so just say somebody, man up.
Just don't do that. Just say somebody come at you, later on in life, and you can't defend yourself. Yeah. It's like, what's gonna happen?
Exactly. And so, that's, to me, that's the preparation. We talk about, like you say, men first, right? That's the preparation men need, because in my experience with bullying, what bullying taught me, and people trying to bully me, critical thinking skills and all. I'll give an example. When I entered secondary school in Form 1, right? And I went to prestige school, right? I remember Form 5 was taxing people. And I remember first avoiding any eye contact, nothing, because I don't want to get taxed. But then I was in, well, if I say it, people are going to know what school. But anyway, I was in the pavilion watching men sweat, right? And I remember he come up to me after get taxed. But I know I couldn't fight him,
Yeah.
Right? And he wasn't with a squad, but I know he have a group of men. And I now come in school. Me not no squad yet. Me not no group yet. So I know I was going to get like, so you know what I do? I vomit on him. I put my hand and just vomit on him. Now, all they laughing.
So what I was expecting that.
Right.
Oh.
And I still get a lash, I still get a lash. But he didn't get the money, right? He thought I was crazy.
He was a llama or alpaca or something.
but hear more.
That's hilarious.
But I better than getting taxed.
Well,
right?
I don't know. We ready for a break yet?
It's a real good stand-up joke, bro. Like, I swear to you.
But here we're coming from. You have to learn.
Where you coming from? No, you don't know where to come from with that. You vomit on somebody.
Man.
Yeah, where coming from?
Yeah.
No.
Because
we know where it came from.
Yeah, your stomach.
Hear this.
That's crazy work.
We're not editing that.
Hear the intellectual side of it now, right? Hear the intellectual side of it is that in any situation, you have to learn how to come out of it. You have to learn not to be the victim. Okay. And what it is that everybody now want the world to change for them instead of trying to trying to be resilient.
I can't help it.
And I think we should be going
no, not yet, because it's just like just to think I've never seen somebody ready for 50 cups or running away.
For me, here wait for me. The build up, the seriousness in the story, and then I vomit on them.
Right.
The delivery.
The delivery was great, but I understand what he means. Not the vomit part, but I understand what he means.
To each their own. But before we go to the break, I just want to clarify that something you realize, and through the show, Jamel, we always, when you realize you've said something or done something that can be misleading or wrong, and it's a learning moment. So in the same way I vented just now to say I want to slap him up.
Yeah.
I realized that part of that, I've met him a couple of times, or even with people, I'm not that person. Right? Unless you put me into a particular situation of survival, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
And to see it slap him up, I realized in a room, the testosterone of being in front of men and talking, it felt like I had to say, but at a BT boy.
Yeah.
You understand?
But it also shows something to me a little bit deeper, because that happened so long ago, and it still hold on to it. So it was like an important factor in your life. And even that, some men don't know how to let go of traumas, let go of things that already happened.
And also embarrassment.
Also embarrassment.
Not only the trauma, but the embarrassment in front of, as you said, squad. When you there now, how do you, unless you turn around at that point or later on and tackle that situation in front of your peers, you're not leaving yourself up for peacock at any point. Anytime you looking to say anything at that point, your partner will say, oh, but why you didn't tell it to so and so?
No, for
or when
sure,
you get cuff up in your head. You are a gimmick.
One of the best routes to letting go is becoming stronger, right? Because you see, now that you are a capable fighter, right? For you to even think now, hey, I want to hit him sucker, mean that you grew and you became stronger.
Well, the discipline, as you know, in kickboxing is actually want to take lash, but knowing that you don't go after fights. You know, have the discipline to say, hey,
step back.
Let me step back and step away.
That's one of the most important things in any sort of combat sport that you're doing is they teach you knowing when to engage, or if you should even engage in the first place. Walking away from a situation is...
But you had the strength, and that's the point, that's the resilience. So when people talk about the get licks and the live, right? Whether we be questioning whether licks right or wrong, the point is they went through a hardship and they become strong. And going with the neuroplasticity in your brain, when you do difficult tasks, the actual connection between the neurons becomes stronger, right? And then the more you do the task, it becomes stronger, but also now it becomes routine, and then that becomes easy.
Yeah.
And then you could do something else.
But I just try to debunk it a little bit, especially because it's a very serious topic for people who go down that road of depression and reach the stage where they contemplate if to take their lives or not. It's like a lot of the situation come from, where the parents used to tell them, I'm talking holistically, where the friends used to tell them, And they're just isolating themselves for so long. And it's like, how to figure out removing that sort of mindset from someone and getting them out of that level of depression that they're experiencing and feeling is because I've seen a lot of people.
I have a solution for you that worked 99% of the times, but I'll tell you that when we come back from the break.
Yes.
Welcome back to Manhood. We're discussing bullying. And Jamel, before we went to the break, you spoke about depression. And I have some solutions that has worked for me and also worked for clients I've worked with, I would say 99% of the times, is competence, right, builds confidence. And I say competence because when you teach someone that they're able to do things, and they don't have to be directly in the situation, what happens is they feel more confident. Because when we are depressed or suicidal, usually it's because we can't figure out the solution to the problem we're in, right? And now if it have many problems, then it becomes more intense, or depending on what the problem is. But as soon as we could find the solution, right, we see the light at the end of the tunnel, even though it's far away.
Yeah.
So when someone is depressed, and this might sound funny, sometimes the first activity I'll give them is a puzzle to do, right? And in the puzzle, wait now, I could do this. And then you'll give them confidence to do something else.
What
and something else.
the puzzle, boy?
It also distracts your brain in a real positive way now, because now you're trying to figure out this puzzle instead of thinking about the problems you're facing. That's such a smart way to...
But what about if you can't figure out the problem? You could tell yourself, boy, you see, I know nothing good enough.
The main
design like that.
The main thing for a puzzle for me is to start it now.
Right.
So like even if you start a puzzle and you're not even able to finish it, the beauty in that is like you got somewhere.
Correct. And that's what I say too, because it has some people who don't complete it, but I still commend them for not giving up.
Yeah.
Right? So if you understand what I'm saying, competency in a whole. So the more we put ourselves in difficult situations or embrace difficult situations we may not have perceived that would come, that it helps us, it gives us growth, you know.
Yeah.
So again, we could classify things, whether it is abuse, whether it is bullying, etc. So I'm not negating that at all. But if we could look at it as what will kill me, make me stronger.
Also, I firmly believe life have balance now. So the same way we could tell our brethren about a bullet in our transport, and you can compliment your brethren too, but it's so taboo for men to compliment. As soon as I walk in, I was like, I like that suit, bro.
Right.
And,
I told you I like your shirt.
It's not hard now. It's like it's real easy to just give a compliment.
Correct.
In a masculine way now. So I feel like the balance is what we need.
No, I just say balance there, Jamel.
Yeah.
You remember your story I was sharing with you, right?
Yeah.
With me talking with Marshall. You know, he talking about balance. He said, okay, I wouldn't do the voice, right?
Yeah.
But where he said, you know, you have a mother and a father.
Yeah.
So in you there's balance.
Yeah.
So every time you're saying it now,
you're thinking about that. I actually have a character called Zion, boy. It's just a free-spirited character that understands life does happen. So you have a kind of perspective where it's just like life is life. And anything you throw at him, you hit you the opposite way. So certain words he uses as well. So things like what he called fighting words. So you can say like appreciate, because it's a hate in it. He say appreciate love. We had to spread that type of love now. And he will often uses words like frequency and positivity and something like, you know, I never passed school and a school passed me. Like things like that. Is like he just so free-spirited in the sense he accepts life. He accepts when something goes bad. If you can't fix the situation, you don't dwell on it. You just move on in life. And that character was created for balance mentally for people. Often people see the characters and think, I'm just doing a character. Every single character I have have a meaning behind it. And it's there to teach a lesson. For example, for me, it might even teach me my own lesson. I didn't grow up with my father, and I have a father character. And while doing the father character, sometimes I might edit my videos and I might feel like I actually have a family. You understand? It's like I know how to explain it too much, but
Now you explained well there. I understand where you're coming from, because sometimes, and this might be ironic, we have a lot of the message that we need in ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
Because even ManHOOD, when I watch ManHOOD, I listen to ManHOOD and watch it like if I'm not on the show, right?
Yeah.
And I learn so much
Yeah.
from watching this show. And that's why too. There's a side note, but we on track. Still for men.
Yeah.
You see what we're doing here, right? For men in general, to have healthy conversation, not just about what you do with the woman last night, not just about how much you could drink, like. Conversation like that. Do I have to be long? And you don't have to think it emotional and it's like what women do, because that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But having conversation like this, you will learn a lot.
Exactly.
You know, as he said that day, you know, men really say that, boy, I drink 2 bottles of rum last night, boy, and we use these things as if it's you know, a two-stripe or a former brother, you know, like masculinity in a way. But you had also shared with me, as I talk about Marshall, that you were influenced by...
Yes, because while reaching that stage in life where it's extremely normal to grow and want to grow, I reached that phase in my life where I needed to grow as an individual in terms of the different extensions of my life. So with Certified Scoop, while doing Certified Scoop, you know, while trying to manage a business and trying to manage so many other things in life, a lot of this was just coming my way. And then I developed anxiety attacks and panic attacks, which to me was strange, because I had an ex-girlfriend at the time who used to have a lot of those, and I used to say, just breathe. When I got them, it had nothing like just breathe. It felt like a panic attack, like a heart attack every time. And while experiencing it, I had a better experience, and again, I spoke about it before, emotional intelligence, of what this individual was going through. And she was experiencing these panic attacks, right? And the just breathe statement causes more problems than it does good.
Like telling somebody calm down.
Yeah, and while getting these panic attacks and feeling doomed, because it got worse and worse. At first it was just 1. And then a month later, I'll just get 2 out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden, I fear getting the panic attacks. And it's what causing the panic attacks. The fear of getting it.
Yeah.
And every time it was doom. I got one while driving. Bro, I was on the phone with my mom. This just make me emotional, boy. I crying on the phone and I tell her, I think that is it. I say, Ma, sorry, I love you. I say, that is it. And I put on my phone, bro. I black out. I park up by Grand Bazaar coming down like you're going to Mount Hope around the stretch. And I was like, at least it close to a hospital. Like, that is the last thought I remember having. And I park up right there, bro. And I remember just out. I come back into, and I see in all my palms white, almost like the blood, like my heart taking blood from which part don't need it right now to pump it to my heart. And I remember going through this, and nobody knows I was going through this. Still doing skits. Still, and I put that pressure on myself. Nobody was forcing me to do it. But it just shows that, you know, I just put so much pressure on myself as a man. And trying to figure it out, you know, I scroll and I see Marshall, and Marshall doing something with a guy called Satguru. And I was like, who's Satguru? Who's this guy? So I type up Satguru. And it's like, all I hear was meditation. And like, and he helped me. And I was like, where's this way? So I said, let me try it. Put on the TV. And I put on a meditation video with Satguru, 15 minutes. And I decided to just understand that I am in control of my mind. And I sat there, boy, and I got a panic attack while doing it. And I almost disengaged. But I just let it take me. And it's like my mind was playing tag. Oh, again a heart attack, no, I'm fine. Again a heart attack, no, I'm fine. And I just let it be. And then I remember just experiencing the whole 15 minutes. Cry, snot coming on my nose and thing and I done. Nobody know this happening to me. 30 minutes later, I do a skit. But anyway, nobody know this happening to me. Check my watch and I realized the times my heart spiked. And I watched the heart rate. It was like 171, which is a lot, bro. Resting heart rate, not supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
So, and then I watched when it calmed down and it was like 72 was the lowest. And I was like, yo, I am in control. And I took that among the 72 and I was remembering where my mental was. And it was when I just give way and say, I understand that this happening to me. It will pass. This too shall pass. And I just let it happen.
That's my favorite, eh?
Yeah.
That got me through. You see what you just said there? he would tell you that I almost want to get that tattoo. You see, in all the times in my life with severe anxiety, like you just said, people don't see. I've been on TV, anchoring, productions, all of these different things, and behind the scenes, crying, you know.
Yeah.
And that saying, "This too shall pass," brought me through.
Yeah.
In a massive way. So just to hear you say that, but you said just something just now, Jamel. I don't want to leave it to pass.
Okay.
Where you said, as a man, in your statement, you said, you know, all the anxiety you're going through and the pressure, and you got through your skits, and you felt that pressure as a man, and that rung home for me that in what you were doing, the pressure of what people's expectation of you. To produce, and they don't see Jamel.
Yeah.
Right? Today they see in Jamel.
Yeah.
But what most people, and sometimes to be honest, let's be honest, sometimes they really don't care to know the person behind the character. As far as they're concerned, they just want to laugh.
Yeah.
But there is a human behind it.
Yeah, for sure. But I also want to go back to something before I finish with the panic attacks, because I just want people to know this as well. It's like the things you eat, the things you put into your body, health-wise, like all of that is important factors of feeling better and getting over panic attacks. Not just, hey, I know I'm getting panic attacks, I'm going to start to breathe, I'm going to start to calm down a little bit. You got to change your life in positive habits and understanding that what you put in your body is very important now. So eating-wise, all of that, right? So I'll just make sure and say that.
When they say garbage in, garbage out, if you put crap in your body, that's what...
Sleep. Sleep. People don't sleep, and that's the problem with this young generation now. Them on them phone till 4 in the morning, and that's how to talk to my sister. Put down your phone and enjoy sleep. Sleep is so important. Going in your bed 4 a.m. and waking up at 10, 11, 12 in the day is not good. The sunlight is where you need. Sun is good. Going in your bed 10 o'clock wouldn't hurt you. Waking up 7 o'clock wouldn't hurt you. Do that, right? It's an important thing. So that is why a lot of you all face anxiety. You feel like the world moving too fast. It's because you're not giving the world enough time to do what it needs to do, because you're waking up 12. Get up, right? So
why think this be on the phone?
Because they're so addicted to social media. They're so addicted to social life.
Why they're addicted to social media?
Because it gives some sort of validation to them in different ways, or what they would like to be, or what they would want to be, or they would see people living this kind of life. I want to be like that.
Yeah, living vicariously.
So it's like entertainment so quick to go on your phone.
You see that word they use there? And that's the crux. They do it because it's easy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything easy.
Yeah.
And when you look to lead an easy life, that's when it becomes soft.
Yeah.
That's where every little thing that happens, you feel that somebody bullying you. Right?
And those are fighting words for men, soft and weak. Yeah, tell a man he's soft and he's weak.
That good.
Like,
That good, because you're not supposed to be soft and weak.
Yeah.
Because if the world is a jungle, and we have said that before, then you're choosing to be a rabbit, you're choosing to be a deer, you're choosing to be a lion, you're choosing to be an elephant. The softer you are, and the easier, because this life compared, and I sound like a real old man now, compared to when I was growing up.
Yeah.
You rather sound like one. Yeah,
right?
You know.
Right? Is that things easier, things much easier.
Way
And
easier.
compared, when I was a child, my parents used to tell me that, and I understand it too, because if they had to walk everywhere instead of, it had less cars. Things were harder, but harder also breeds strength.
And I want to go back to what he said with chores, boy. You're underestimated, you know. Because I remember raking up the yard, and I taken 2 hours to do that, hour and a half. But 2 hours, hour and a half of my time allocated to something other than my phone. You understand? So it's like chores, cleaning the face basin, toilet, bathroom. I remember I used to dread. It's be like every Saturday I had to do this, and when Friday come, I had to wake up 8 in the morning.
Why it had to be a Saturday morning, you know?
Why it had to be a Saturday morning? Why can't I do it next week? But it taught you a level of organization as well too, but also the detach from other things. Because I remember I want to sit down and watch Yu-Gi-Oh! and whatever cartoon showing on TV.
But also contribution. There's a sense of contribution after, like, you know what, I help mommy and daddy. Because even though you want to play, there's a sense after that sometimes you really don't know how to be part of this thing, because you see you're a sponge, so you're seeing what your parents are doing. And, you know, I see it even with my son wanting to pick up, like, help his mom chop, whether it be chop onions, or if he see me outside in the yard, he want to come and pick up a shovel too. And as you get older, maybe if you don't encourage them from a young age.
That's the thing there, boy, because parenting, parents had to buck up a little bit, boy, and some of them do like to.
No, not a little bit.
A lot.
Plenty, and I would say parents of, the parents especially who was born in the 1980s, right? Because those parents say, I want to give my child everything I didn't have, but you're not giving them the hard work.
Correct.
So you just give children all these things that they didn't work for, and just bringing home grades is not
enough.
Is not enough, you know.
Yeah.
And what parents also do is they give the children the salary before they work. So they say, well, I've given him these things so to encourage him to study, but then he don't study because again it from before. And what that does, it builds an entire generation of soft children.
And nobody know the value of something that they don't get themselves. I noticed that.
Agreed.
Like, I go get something for my sister. I get, what event I went? CIC. I say, you know how much for a ticket to go there? We outside. I was like, it's like, you know how much for a CIC ticket? Are you crazy? Will you buy one of that for yourself? And she was like, no. And then she asked me, where we going this weekend? QRC is this? I was like, are you purchasing that ticket? And she doesn't know the value of things.
So you sound like your parents now?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Correct. And you know the value. And you see the intensity in your face, like, what is wrong with her?
That have value, you know.
Yeah.
And I say not for the parents. If you want to reduce depression, actually almost any mental illness, make your children competent. Give them things to do. Put them under some sort of difficulty. I ain't say abuse them.
No.
I ain't say deprive them, but give them difficulty. I used to sometimes get annoyed at my mom, right? I know she have money, but she tell me, nah, you have to work for this. But I said, no, I know you could buy it. But she said, no, you have to work for this. This is I just say, sweeping is $1. This is this is that. And I say, but why? I know I could just get it. And the T-Fed was, after I do all these things and earn the money, you know, I say, no, me don't want to spend my hard-earned money on no Nintendo and thing, you know.
No, that
right? If you understand what I say.
For me, right? Like, I remember some Saturdays I go miss and Sunday lunch, nice. Macaroni pie, red bean, kalaloo, like nice. You don't do them thing, you ain't eating. No food, it have bread, you go eat bread. And I remember like weighing the options of not doing these chores and eating bread, doing these chores and eating a nice Sunday lunch with a cold cup of grapefruit juice. And I always chose doing
I'm putting a cold cup of grapefruit juice.
I always chose doing the
Jamel,
chores.
I'm real glad you say that, because sometimes when I tell parents, get them cricks instead, right? They find I harsh, right?
Yeah.
Right? Especially the mothers, right?
Yeah.
But you see what you're saying there? That's real important, because you ain't earn it. Eat
Exactly.
cricks, eat
Yeah,
bread
but
while
I know-
everybody
I-
eating the macaroni pie.
I hear all there, but I am probably one of those. My parents.
He's soft.
The bad mind in me. Oh, it could be. So I just tell. I used to swipe and thing when I was, you know.
When I say the
I don't
bad
know.
mind in here, you have to get context. And
So when I say the bad mind, you say if I didn't want to do those chores,
yeah.
and you tell me that Sunday lunch could be there, I eat any bread.
Like, see how long you can do it?
Well, I mean, it
That's just
depends
the other question. It's just
how
see how long you can do
long
it.
I could go with it, because then they could be bad man and say, okay, well, we could play this game. I could wait you out.
You
But our
remember
parents-
growing up as a young man and not eating because you're sad and your parents know that, hey,
Yeah.
I sad. You're hungry? No, but you're hungry. And you're in your room. And it's like, oh gosh, it's like, come on, beg man, like do something.
You listen,
And my mother,
you listen for footsteps.
yeah, and my mother, she don't care. It's like, oh, okay, if I don't eat, so that you? And it's like we'll put ourselves through so much stress
But
as
all of that is strength, you know.
Yeah.
You feel a
Fast, like
child of
fasting.
this generation could say, me eating nothing. No, they don't even, no, I can't speak for all, but I'm just talking generally. They don't even have that resilience anymore.
Nah.
Right? Was the guy named who had gone the fast? I can't remember his name.
Kublai Singh.
Right. It had no. Why we don't have no leaders and heroes and thing that listening? Because those kind of men have resilience, you know. Gandhi, right? Martin Luther, Eric Williams, right? All of those people, Dwight York, and we hear Dwight York used to be playing football on the beach, Brian Lara, all of those heroes that we have, that was built through resilience, you know, right? So if now everything easy and people in gear a little difficulty, we wouldn't have anything to look up to.
So that's the thing when I come while getting the panic attacks, figuring out how to try to make people happy or some sort of joy for whoever you're receiving the content in that way. I remember through the difficulties and the panic attacks and through the completion of the what I chose as a career, when I look back on it, I would say it was worthwhile because it was one of the most toughest periods of my life, and to know that I got through that period and
This
understand
too shall pass.
This too shall pass, and it was important for me because now I can lend advice and know how I could give that advice to somebody who experiencing that. Because with panic attacks, you sort of disassociate yourself with public because it's like next thing I get one in a party, next thing I get one while on work. So now you're calling. You can't feel like you're coming to work today, or you don't want to go out a little family life.
You getting anxiety about the possibility of anxiety.
Right. So that's why it's good to take control and never ever let it take control of you. It's not an easy thing to do.
And not just breathe.
And not just breathe, yeah.
But let me ask you something, Jamel. Do you have, I mean, at least in the social media era, because we can't put context to overall, but you are arguably one of the most, or if not the most successful Trinidad and Tobago, and I would say comedian, because your skits make people laugh. It brings joy to them, right? Even though you're a content creator.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So in that content creation, do you still feel elements of pressure to constantly deliver at that level? Because not only do you have to create, and then of course there could be whatever's the next thing that's going to come up. So how long this can go on for?
Yeah.
But also that, as we spoke about, some people are thin skinned, and you're one skit away from probably somebody wanting the cancel culture. And
so I look at content as a sport. When you see him ran his first race versus his second race versus his third race, it's like, he tried his best to get better and better and better and better. So for me, in any form of the content creation that I'm doing, I'm always trying and figure out how to get better. And trying to do that, you will have some fundamentals that you learn from, just the whole process that might make it a little bit easier. But it's definitely still a little bit difficult, especially to maintain. I do a skit a day, so to maintain that for like 365 days of the week, even I can maintain that. But what else it affects in my life, relationship wise? I'm single for a little bit now, because before I remember so clearly.
Tell him in the camera there, right? Tell him that you're
Christmas
single.
Day, with someone that I was with, I was like, I need 3 hours, and I was like, no, we have a family thing to go to. I was like, nah, I need 3 hours. I have to do a skit, and it felt like addiction. I was like, why am I addicted to this? Am I addicted to just doing a skit? Or am I addicted to what that success level would be when I put in all the work from now? And I couldn't figure it out. And then I figured it out recently, and it was definitely to work towards where I would like to be and where I would like to go. But for me, with doing content, I always try to get better. It doesn't get as easy as people think. I would have days that good. Same way as work. You come to work, you might have a good day at work. But during the whole entire week, you're not going to have great days for the entire week. You might have 1 or 2 days that not as good. And it's the same thing with content. Not everything people go receive as, yeah, boy, I really like this one. Sometimes I might be like, I don't like this one. So it's still a learning process. It's still like any other thing that anybody would do, which is how could I get better at it, and how can I maintain that level of professionalism in what I do. And that is what been keeping the wheel turning is that consistency.
What's the destination for you?
Movie, film. So I want to contribute to the big screen, and I feel like definitely have what it takes. I use that word a lot, by the way. I need to stop using it, definitely. But I have a lot to learn for sure. Acting coaches here and there, but I feel like I have something to bring to the big screen. I love film. So, when people say comedian, when people say, I like telling a story. I like to tell people I'm a storyteller because everything I think about, especially with the characters, mom, dad, Jackson, Granny, Ezekiel, Jamel, Screws. Screws is a character that we often see so much talented people on the streets waste the talent based on addictions in many different forms, whether it be drugs or whatever. And Screws was that sort of example where he on the streets, he have a talent, he still can't get off the streets yet because he not taking advantage fully of the talent that he have. He still have something on the streets that just keeping him there. It's not drugs, but something on the streets that's keeping him there. For Ezekiel, it's like we all know some child that has give trouble. It's like these children and them so hard and they're always making little sound effects like oh-ohs and la-la-las. Like if you observe when a child giving trouble, I guarantee it have a song behind it. It's either the singing or it's either have sound effects. With the father character, that was brought in to bring some balance in the household, because before I always did skits with mom alone. So it didn't have that sort of diversity with a dad and what a man's supposed to teach you. So I just decided to bring that character in. The grandmother, we all know, old school. I did a video, she shelling peas the other day and she make everybody shell the peas. Yeah. Nobody like to do that.
You're
right?
ducking your grandma like, oh God, she's me. Yeah.
I just going through it here a little bit, right? We have Jackson, which is the neighborhood dwindler, which is, he go use his charisma to finesse ladies to get things for him. I know fellas like that in real life.
Swindler, I mean.
Swindler, not dwindler, sorry, swindler. So it's like he go say certain things, he emotionally, taking advantage of somebody that not intelligent in that way. So he's seeing the vulnerability and trying to take advantage of it. And it's like, women experience it so much as well. I know it's manhood, but women experience it where it's like, they're trying to get out of a situation, but this man just keeping them in it. And they're not listening to the sisters. It's like, it's the same thing with those swindlers now. It's like he know what he doing. He know exactly what he doing. Who else I'm missing? Zion, as I mentioned before, calm, cool, collective. Life is about balance, perspective. That is why I wanted for Zion. And people often ask, why is that Rasta? Because to me, Rasta that give you that kind of level-headedness in life, boys. Like I've spoken to a lot of Rastafarians, and it's like they just understand life.
Overstand. Why
I make that mistake? So they overstand like life just happens now, and to dwell on something that has already happened, and you can't fix it, you're just wasting your time and you're wasting your energy. They
say that if something's not gonna matter in 5 years, don't give it 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I want to come back to Ezekiel because he's one of your most popular characters.
Yeah.
And we spoke a lot about, bills, even the food, the chores and the red beans, and you're seeing these things. Is it that Ezekiel is derived from maybe somebody, the trouble you gave your mom?
Nah. Nah, I couldn't get so much trouble. My mother had a half kill me, bro. But it came from a little cousin I had, boy. This youth man so hard, he big now. But he took his mom wedding rings, like she cleaned it now. And he took the rings, boy, and like playing with it, washing it and thing. But the sink didn't have a cover. So the ring fell inside the sink, but it's an upstairs house. So to find the pipe that's sinking, you go pay the plumber a lot of money. So that ring fall inside of there, bro. And she spent about a week with the plumber trying to find back that ring. And it's like, I remember she talking about the frustration about Dana.
This
so
blasted boy.
Yeah, boy. But I remember she was saying like he was singing. I forgot wherever he was in, but he was singing, he was making a sound effect. So Ezekiel came about from that little hardened cousin. And at the time when I had it, it was like 5-6 years ago. I didn't have because the character have a little filter to make him look a little younger. So at the time, it was difficult to portray the character in the best way. So I did it for only like 3-4 videos and I left it. Because it was almost like a big man trying to play a little child. It was visually, it was not looking
believable.
Believable, that's the word. So then when, I get this little filter that can make me look like a little child, I
change the game.
Yeah.
Change the game.
If that filter go on, Ezekiel go on. Honestly.
So like you said, people know you now, Jamel.
Yeah.
But you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Right? And now that you're popping, is that the young? Is that the young too? Or no,
Nah,
you're trending?
I wouldn't use that tone.
All right. No, trending?
You sure age there?
Yeah. Trending? Come on, fellas.
No.
No.
So the in thing, whatever.
Yeah, the in thing.
But we don't really look at it like that. It's just like, I can speak for me.
Right.
I just do my skits, bro.
Right.
I don't look at it like, right, I the best one. Or,
right.
I just have a focus. Obviously, you will know what are wrong, yeah. But I love to celebrate, boy, because somebody was asking me this question. Because Junior leaders do videos, Kyla's do videos. Are you intimidated? Are they doing videos? It's like, why? It brings more
Community.
to the craft. It brings more to the. If Usain didn't have 7 or 8 other people around with him, it might not have a 100 meter and even
go slow
push
down.
it to a level.
You see that mindset you have? That could only come from resilience, eh?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're weak, you would think it. Why somebody else doing what I doing?
Yeah.
Why had this person versus somebody else doing it? And I say that because we ask the question when we're talking about bullying, and I saying bullying now because sometimes people call difficulty bullying, right?
Yeah.
Somebody could construe, well, if them making other videos too, them trying to bully me to stop.
Yeah.
Right? But all of that is still in your mind, and I think that is born from weakness.
Yeah.
But when you really look at any difficulty, because everybody go through difficulty in life, if you're able to look at those difficulties as forging you, your rite of passage as a huge forging you to become a better version of yourself.
Brings out the best in you, not gonna lie. It brings out the best because, again, I keep using Usain as an example. Like you say you run 9.8 and somebody come and they run 9.81. 9.8 is 880 is not good enough. I need to do 9.69.
Yeah.
So it pushes you. It's like, to me, it's a natural form to want to do better, not because you want to, like beat them in a way that I had to be the best. Nah, it's like a self thing. At least for me, it's a self thing where I am going to try to be as best as I can be at my craft, but I just focus on myself and my craft, because when your mind go all over,
you could only be you.
Exactly.
You can't be nobody else, no matter how
Exactly.
you try. Then you're living as an imposter or an
Yeah.
alter ego.
Yeah.
All you could do is be you. So when somebody, some people say, oh God, be yourself now. I like, well, any form I taken is only me I could be.
Yeah.
But you again, this is another real powerful conversation. And I know we said we're gonna have you back, many a time, because we have so many other things to talk about. But we really need to get to what we've taken from this conversation. I had a cathartic moment, in realizing that did affect me from then, and I wouldn't slap him up.
Yeah.
It is a bravado, but I realized that it's something that may have had an effect, and through doing other things, it made me stronger.
Thesaurus or something. What's that C word you call
Cathartic.
What's that word?
Cathartic.
Cathartic meaning is a moment of emotional release when you realize, wait, no, this rating really impact me. You're able to release.
Okay, I like that word.
I could hit you another one to be pellucidly clear.
Pellucidly.
Like be very, very clear with something.
Pellucidly clear. I'm going to how create a character and use words like that.
So,
You get my idea. I'm going to start to do that.
give me credit, right?
I will. I won't even robot. Hey, boy.
So if you
I
want
will say why taken from today, one is the value of manhood in general, right? Jamel, I'm real happy you share what it is. You shared because it helped me even understand myself better as a man. Also, it's always good to hear the human side of everybody. That's one. Two is, and two, to even see how the space to express itself. For men, I think that's a valuable thing.
Yeah.
And then also, I've questioned bullying, the concept of bullying before, but I even question it more now because I understand the value of going through difficulty so you could become stronger.
Yeah.
And I would reiterate that competency breeds confidence, and the more confidence you have, the better you could solve the problems in life.
Yeah. So, like I said, with the funny part, vomit on somebody if they ask you for money. Anyway, all seriousness. I learn a lot more about emotional intelligence and a lot more about you had to prepare for this world. Like, this world is not it's a cruel world that we live in. And life is about perspective, in my opinion, right? So, all those people who say they get bullied and, people say things about them, yes, I understand is a very touchy topic and is a very serious thing and is a very hurtful thing to experience. But sometimes we need to put ourselves in a space where we could grow mentally stronger. I know it's easier said than done, for sure, but working on something is better than not working on something. So another thing I learned here today as well too is like being okay to share your experiences as a man, as we often keep it inside and are ashamed to talk about it. A lot of men, experience things, whether it be relationships, job, world, growing up with a family, they don't speak about it. The panic attack things for me, I didn't want to talk about it because I used to feel like if people go want to pray on that side, I mean, give my energy, like I hope he get more panic attacks. Like I used to believe in energies because there are people there, jealousy is a strong thing. So it's like the problems I face, they would try to put our energy out there. But I'm a strong believer in God, of course, and it's like, what okay, go make it stronger, as they say, right? But I learned a lot, boy. I could keep going on and on and on and on, but I really love this. I really love this show. I really love this platform because it brings men closer to men a lot closer to healthy conversations. And how much gal I with, how much I drink in the bar. I can drink more rum than you. I don't want to hear that. Like, I want to talk about things that could give your brain some food, some food for thought, things that could grow your brain and understand different perspectives, right? Your perspective may not be mine, so it don't mean that you're wrong, but it just means that I could share what I think about it. You could share what you think about it, and we could walk out that door as men knowing that, we reach somewhere. We understand your point, you understand my point, and we out rather than, just filling your brain with a bunch of things that are not important. And one more thing, sorry, kids, sleep, please sleep. A lot of things that happening in your life right now, especially in exams and a lot of these things, is because you're not getting enough sleep. Give yourself the time and the rest that you need. Your body performs better and it performs at its best when you give yourself that level of rest, right? Sleep for 8 hours, 10 to 7, 10 to 6, 9 to 5, something, right? Sleep.
So a couple things you said there, so just to touch on it, this again was a very powerful conversation and one that has me very pensive. And I'm glad it was a cathartic experience for all of us, and, but they also say, fellas, that if two persons always agree, then one is irrelevant. Yeah, let us sink in. If you always agree, then one of you becomes irrelevant. Okay. And I love the fact that you said you're God-fearing because God is the boss and everybody else is just pretending. And so, in this, let me be pellucidly clear. Words have power. Choose your words carefully. And wrong is wrong, even if everyone else is doing it. So, Jamel, Johanse, This was another one. Bullying. Correct. Manhood.
Hey, long time me recognize, but me keep it cool. Deceitful, bad mind, them wicked and cruel. Can't tie me down with them evil as doings. Insist them going to distance, them just an refuse. Better watch yourself, cause them never watch themselves. Wishing only bad for you. A different level, I pretend could I never be my friends. Thinking of my name and carrying you. Fake smile on the average face. Humans, a lot of them is hating. Stay woke cause them anticipating on their next move and they congregate. Careful who you appreciate. The nicest wolf in sheep clothing. Keep a close eye on the bird betray. Yeah, I know them out for me. Terrorizing every level of my energy. Going hard and sticking to myself is the remedy. On a very thin line, it is what it is. Fully focused, dedicated to the music it was meant to be. Trying to kill my vibes, go left heavy. Plus the devil come in disguise, trying to tempt me. I read between the lines and the envy. While they're trying to friend or befriend me, them trappy. Plain talk, real life, them uncomfortable. Plus them unhappy, hence me not trust the body. Claim safe family, but busting up them out with Tom, Dick and Harry. Kill them dead, somebody clappy. I call them catty. Them not give up in a games, them play no happy. I switch it up and know the Irie. Them not winning in her. Better watch yourself, cause them never watch themselves. Wishing only bad for you. A different level, I pretend could never be my friends. Thinking up my name and carrying you. Fake smile on the average face. Humans, a lot of them is hating. Stay woke cause I'm anticipating on their next move and they congregate. Careful who you affiliate with. The nicest wolf in sheep clothing. Keep her close. ManHOOD, spotlight, hey. Once again, me nah see it twice. And will do anything for fame that me realize. I'm the fed up call up my name. Not really surprised. I cause no Lego 5. Only jump out them brain. Don't have no time for aim. For me, gathering me hammering down the team. Two now wanna be on the scene. New news, contest is on reveal. Mama start to scream. About time me I turn up the grind. Man I fully active. Them a so line. Now me reach to a point. Get the money front. Cause them love to gate. Cause I no hesitate. Better watch yourself, cause I've never watched themselves. Wishing only bad for you. And if a level I pretend could I never be my friend. Sticking up my name and carrying you. Big smile on the average face. Humans, a lot of them is hating. Stay woke cause I'm anticipating on their next move when they congregate. Careful who you affiliate with. The nicest wolf in sheep clothing. Keep a close eye on the perpetrates. ManHOOD, spotlight. Only bad for you. The mission only bad for you. Stinking up my name and carrying you. Fake smile on the average face. Humans, a lot of them is hating. Stay woke cause I'm anticipating on their next move and they congregate. Careful who you affiliate with. The nicest
ManHOOD, brought you in part by Reboot, Super Farm and Solomon's Bespoke.